What if Neon was an initiator instead of Duelist? Today, I completely redesigned her entire kit and somehow turned Neon into a healer. For Neon's signature ability, I wanted to keep the feeling of electricity spreading everywhere. When you activate the ability, Neon raises both of her hands forward with electricity building between them. You will see a charge bar appear similar to Bridge Stun. The longer you hold left click, the more energy Neon charges up. And just like Bridge, the amount of charge changes the size of the area. But instead of sending out a stun, Neon creates a long glowing electric zone across the ground. The area lights up with bright neon electricity for 2 seconds, almost like a current flowing through the map itself. Now here's where the ability becomes scary. If an enemy touches the zone, they instantly become revealed with glowing electricity around their body. But that's not all. Any revealed enemy creates a small electric field around themselves for 1 second. And if another enemy gets too close to them, the electricity spreads. So even if that second player never touched the original zone, they still get revealed because the current chained into them. And then they can spread it to others too. So imagine an entire team trying to hide together behind cover. One player gets detected and suddenly the whole site lights up. This turns Neon into an initiator that punishes stacked positioning and forces enemies to spread out. She gets one charge of this ability and it recharges every 60 seconds. This is basically the core of Neon's new identity: high-speed information gathering through spreading electricity.
Coming through!
Now this ability is probably the weirdest part of the redesign. When Neon activates her C ability, she overloads her hands with electricity, but instead of throwing something, you have to target a nearby wall. The moment you activate it, Neon physically touches the wall and sends electricity directly into the surface. And then things get dangerous. Any connected wall or map structure within 15 meters also becomes electrified. You would literally see electricity rapidly traveling through walls, boxes, corners and connected surfaces. After a short delay, a massive shockwave erupts from every electrified surface at the same time, and any player standing too close gets violently pushed away from the walls. Think about how many corners people hide in during Valorant. Close left, close right, behind boxes, tight angles everywhere. This ability is redesigned to destroy those safe positions. Instead of flashing a corner, Neon forces enemies cut off the corner. And because the shockwave happens through connected structures, enemies can't always predict exactly where it will hit from. So now Neon becomes an initiator that manipulates positioning instead of just stunning people. She gets one charge of this ability.
Watch out! Take this! Take this!
Honestly, Neon's current stun already feels kind of like an initiator ability, so instead of fully reworking it, I decided to evolve it. Neon still fires an electric bolt that bounces off surfaces and creates stun zones at both the bounce point and final impact point. But I changed how the ability functions. Right now in Valorant, the stun is almost instant. That makes it feel more like a selfish duelist tool. So in this redesign, Neon now has to properly equip the ability before firing it. And I also delayed the stun activation slightly. That means enemies actually have time to react and escape if they move quickly enough. At first that sounds like a nerf, but here's the buff. This ability now uses same chain electricity mechanic from her E ability. So if an enemy does get stunned, electricity starts flowing through their body. and if nearby enemy gets too close, the electricity spreads to them too. So even though the stun itself is weaker and more fair, the utility becomes much stronger for team play. One player gets caught and suddenly multiple enemies are stunned and affected because they stayed grouped together. This turns Relay Bolt into an actual site-clearing initiator tool instead of just a Duelist enter stun, and the Neon gets one charge of it. Before we get into the ultimate, if you enjoy redesign videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, you can join to the channel and unlock many cool perks. Now obviously, Neon's current ultimate is one of the most duelist abilities in the entire game. It's literally built around running at people and melting them instantly, but I didn't want to completely delete that fantasy, so instead I transformed it into an aggressive support ultimate. When Neon activates Overdrive, she still gains insane movement speed and fires electricity from her hands exactly like her current ult. Visually, it still feels like Neon, but the laser no longer deals damage. Instead, it rapidly applies mini stuns, so if Neon sweeps the beam across enemies, they get briefly interrupted and disoriented. But if she keeps the beam focused on a target continuously, she can basically lock them down in repeated stuns for as long as her energy lasts. Now suddenly, Neon becomes this hypermobile disruptor flying into the site and disabling enemies instead of killing them herself. And because she's moving so fast, enemies will actually struggle to hit her consistently while stunned. But here's the important part. Neon can't fully capitalize on it alone anymore. The moment she swaps to her weapon, she loses the speed pressure, and once the beam leaves an enemy, the stun doesn't last very long. So she needs her team to follow her in. That's what makes an Initiator ultimate instead of a Duelist one. But then I added one more mechanic. You can also use a laser on teammates, and when you beam allies, it heals them over time and gives them a combat stim. So imagine Neon sprinting on the side, stunning defenders, boosting teammates forward, healing low allies mid-fight, and creating total chaos everywhere she moves. It keeps Neon's high-speed gameplay fantasy alive, but completely shifts her purpose from entry fragger into aggressive support initiator. And honestly, I think this would be terrifying in coordinated play. So yeah, that's Neon as an initiator. But what do you think? Will this actually work in Valorant, or will it be completely broken? And if you had to redesign Neon into another role, what would you do? Comment your ideas below and subscribe for more Valorant redesigns. Also, check out my Phoenix redesign where I turned him into a sentinel.